Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Zymax, and I'm your chief show attendant. On behalf of the two hosts and the rest of the crew, welcome aboard Weird Wednesday Flight number 13, non-stop, from your current location to parts unknown. For 2 hours, we'll be flying at the speed of sound. At this time, make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position and that your seatbelt is currently fastened. Enjoy the ride.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's another Wednesday, and here we are.
Another one.
How's everybody doing tonight? A few people in Facebook, a few people in the YouTuber.
All right. Woohoo! Wednesday night off.
Yeah, it's technically Thursday now.
Oh, yeah, for you.
Yeah, for me, that's true. My time isn't the only time.
You're living in the future, man.
I'm in the future.
I refuse.
Yeah. What's up, Lori? How's it going, Holly? What's up, Debbie? So anything weird going on in your neck of the woods out there in lovely California, Jamie?
There's always weird stuff going on.
My town seems to be reigning in on the capital of the weirdness.
Seems to be an ongoing thing with
Yeah.
Florida, St. Augustine.
Yeah. Yeah, Florida in general. But yeah, there's a lot of weird shizzle happening in the little sleepy town of St. Augustine. More bodies found.
Knew this was going to start happening, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like, I felt it just like right away after like the fifth one. I was like, this is going to be something.
Yeah. It was interesting yesterday. There's a local guy here in town and does a show called the 904 Now. And he's pretty cool. Pretty cool cat. Pete Melfi's his name. And my dogs are going to bark as usual. But I was watching his live broadcast yesterday, And he said, "Hey, later on in the broadcast, I'm trying to get a hold of the chief of police, and we're going to ask him, about the latest body that was found Saturday morning here, and I want to ask him about the other bodies that have been found, because people are asking questions." And like I always say, I always refer back to the Jaws movie where, they see the shark out there, but the council doesn't want, don't put it out there because it's a tourist town. It's going to kill the tourism.
Not good for business.
Not good for business. Move along, nothing to see. That's like the theme of everything now. I saw a UFO. No, you didn't. Move along, nothing to see. What about those strange lights? No, you didn't see them. Look at this flashy thing.
It's just your imagination.
Yeah. Well, this latest one, I get a couple little articles here. We'll start out with the weird news just in my little funky town here.
What is the population of this town again?
It's a pretty good amount now. It's way too many. I don't know the actual population, but I know it's way too damn many people. There's not enough room for them all, but yet they keep building houses.
So, yeah, they keep doing that out here too, and there's really not enough room.
Yeah.
Like we can't even drive.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. One of my friends came to town and he's like, "Man, what's going on with the traffic today?" I'm like, "What do you mean? It's like this every day here now." What? Yeah. Well, Saturday morning, this is in the headlines. Police: woman found in Oyster Creek, believed to have drowned. Fishermen found a woman's body, says she was in very shallow part of the water. Officers with the St. Augustine Police Department, I'm probably going to have more drones over my house after I read all this, said a woman's body was found Saturday morning in the area of Oyster Creek. The creek is off Ponce de Leon Boulevard near the intersection of King Street, which is less than a mile from my house. According to Officer D. Brown, the woman died in what appears to be a drowning.
Appears to be
a drowning. The official cause of death will be determined by the medical examiner. Brown was not able to identify the woman. Kevin Johnson is the man who found the body. He's a crabber. What's that?
Another non-identified person.
Yeah. Well, I'll get to that in a minute.
Right.
Kevin Johnson is the man who found the body. He's a crabber who was checking his traps around 10:30 a.m. when he made the discovery in the shallow part of the creek near the shore. I sat there for a few seconds just to see if her stomach was moving, because if she was breathing, I was going to run down there, Johnson said. When Johnson didn't see any movement, he immediately called 911. Johnson said the woman appeared to be between 35 and 45 years old, and she was fully clothed. Oyster Creek is a pretty shallow through most parts, and Johnson said she was lying in only a few inches of water. He said, "Every time I come down here, I always walk the edge of the creek, and I've never seen anything like it, and it puts tears in my eyes to see her laying there like that. It hurts to see somebody in that situation." No foul play is suspected in the woman's death. Okay. There is, like last week's show, I was talking about all the homeless people and the panhandlers. There's some homeless camps kind of close to this area, out in the woods and stuff. And it appears that she was like a homeless person. But after reading that article, I'm going to read another one here real quick. Let me find it. This one was found just this past Saturday morning. And this other one, it was back like the 1st of November into September. Mysterious dead body found inside a burning Florida porta potty. I'm laughing. It's not funny, but the hell. The charred remains of an unidentified woman were discovered inside a burning porta potty outside a vacant Florida home on a Saturday morning. Firefighters said the body, after responding to the blaze,
Yo,
uh,
they drop a cigarette down it or something and like blew themselves up.
I don't know. I've been in a lot of funky porta potties, but I've never yet had one explode.
This one literally blew up.
Yeah. Firefighters found the body after responding to the blaze outside of a St. Augustine home that's been under construction for several months, according to the Florida Times-Union. Detectives from the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office are working to determine the identity of the woman and how she died. A person could have gone in there and the methane gas could have ignited somehow. Chuck Milligan, a spokesman for the Sheriff's Office, explained to the paper.
Her
It might
cell phone. She took a selfie.
Yeah. It might have been a suicide or something more nefarious. The spokesman seemed perplexed by the potential crime scene. In my 32 years of law enforcement, I'd never seen one of these before, Mulligan said. An autopsy is expected to be completed on Monday. Still, to this day, like I said, this happened, end of September, 1st of November. They still ain't figured out how she died. They said it was an accident.
See, that's what I was thinking when I was talking about like the Jane Does. I meant like the causes of death. Like,
yeah,
it's all a mystery. And no, I don't know any woman that seriously is going to off herself on that way. Like blowing yourself up one way, not usually the way a girl goes. Number two, you don't want to be associated with the toilet. Come on.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
woman is going to go off herself and like, hey, I watched Mythbusters and there's like a 99% chance that I might be able to pull this one off.
Exactly. Like Debbie says, that's a shitty way to go.
Right?
Yeah. So, yeah,
It's like, who
Mulligan
do you
said
be doing all this?
their office hasn't received any missing persons reports, and that could be linked to the woman. We're asking anybody who may have a family member or friend who has not been heard from or may be missing to contact the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office and ask for the Major Crimes Unit.
What's strange about this new one is it sounds an awfully lot like the one we've been talking about on the Ghost Box.
Yeah.
Laying face down in shallow water again.
Yep.
Apparently drowned.
Yep.
Like, okay, come on. These aren't like fentanyl people just like overdosing or just happen to be beach combing and just,
Yeah. There's several more. I think this is like number 13 now. Since,
when they live there and they are like getting off on all this news coverage every time something comes up, they're loving it. They're placing them places where they're being found. This porta potty one, I don't know.
I lost your audio there, Jamie.
1, 2, 3.
Do you hear me?
I hear you. You're frozen.
Hello?
I hear you.
Okay. I lost you there for a minute.
You were frozen for a second.
Oh, okay. It could be me. I just closed the window and it's a glitch in the system. See, I'm talking about it. NSA's listening. They're trying to shut me down. The man's trying to shut me down.
Those drones.
Those drones. Yeah. Yeah. The other day, just after we were talking to, brain fart. The lady that was on Jason's show Sunday night talking about UFOs and drones and this and that. I come outside my house the other day, and what's over my house? A couple of drones. I hear this, and I look up, and there's these big old drones right over my house, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I went and grabbed my camera, and I went to video them, and as soon as I hit record,
it dipped away. I have a video I want to show you of one that was just on my walk last night doing the same thing. It was like following me, and then it stopped and looked at me. I was like face to face with this drone. And then I took my phone up like this, and it's all, and I see it like landing in a yard somewhere.
So getting back to the guy that does this local show here, he reports, it's like, he does like the real news report. He's not afraid to ask the crazy questions and all that. And so he does this live broadcast, And he says, I'm going to try to get a hold of the chief of police and ask him about this because people are asking questions, and he starts the show, and he had tried to call the chief of police and didn't get him, and so he's going on about the show, and lo and behold, the chief of police calls into the show, and he's talking, and they're just kind of chit chatting for a minute, and he's like, yeah, I want to just ask you, about these bodies that have been being found, they're kind of stacking up. And the chief of police is like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And he's talking about accidents and this and that. And Pete says, he's like, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. He's like, do you think there's a serial killer or something like that here in St. Augustine? And the chief of police kind of starts laughing. And he's like, no, there's nothing like that. And it's right about that time that, I'm watching it live, and I'm in the live chat room, and I was like, yeah, that's the same thing they said back in the 80s. Remember that video I played on a couple shows back, about St. Augustine serial killer? The police had said the same thing back then. Oh, no, it's not a serial killer. Well, lo and behold, turned out to be a hell of a serial killer. So, yeah, he said, no, it's not that. It's just, random acts of accidents that have happened, some homeless people and this and that. And again, he's like, he asked about the girl that was found in the intercoastal, and he's like, yeah, that, autopsy came back that she drowned, and it appears to just be an accident. And I'm typing in there, she was last seen at 5:30 a.m. walking around, and she was found several miles up the river less than 2 hours later. Of course, if she's got water in her lungs, you could say she drowned. My question is, how the hell did she get in the water in the first place? Those questions aren't answered. So I don't know. So, it's just roundabout the same thing here. It's like, this is an accident. Move along. Nothing to see. It's a bummer. And he said this latest girl that was found, they haven't released her name or anything yet because they haven't been able to notify her next to kin or family or whatever. And he said, when people are homeless and they don't have an address, it's hard to track down their family. They may be estranged from them, whatever.
Yeah.
Which, that's true.
It's usually that way. And can I just say, though, if it's not serial killers, affecting tourism, it sounds like a pretty accident prone. Like, I don't know, if I'm wanting to go down there just because there's a lot of mysterious accidents then happening.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound very safe.
It's like the Clintons live here or something. There's a lot of accidents and suicides and stuff going on that don't really make sense.
And Epstein didn't kill himself.
Exactly. Celebration, Florida is not that far from me, Holly. Not that far at all. I mean, it's more than a hop, skip, and jump, but yeah, a couple hours maybe.
So what would you consider hop, skip, and a jump? About 3.5, 3?
Yeah. Yeah, a couple hours. Let me look it up just to make sure I'm not talking out my ass. Yeah, it's over towards Disney. So yeah, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from here. So not that far.
That's gross. Like, where was he keeping the bodies at?
Yeah.
And the dog? Oh, man.
Yep, it is further away than you, Debbie. I still haven't got down to see Debbie, and she's gonna come up here with like a net and like, hoop me up and kidnap me.
Yeah, bag over your head.
Yeah, not that far. So yeah, I don't know. You know, I'm not saying there's a serial killer on the loose here, but some awful weird stuff is going on. Man, there's a lot of dead bodies. They stacking up here, and a lot of it doesn't make sense. Like how, you know, I could see the porta potty incident. Like if somebody went in there and was like, oh, you know, and dumped like a can of gas in the porta potty. You know, maybe this lady went in there and, you know, was smoking a cigarette or threw a match in there or something. Maybe it blew up that way. But I don't know. That's a stretch. Maybe, you know, there was a clog in the vent. Maybe the methane was building up really bad and maybe she lit a cigarette and blew up. Or maybe somebody put her ass in there and lit her on fire. I don't know. I'm just saying. It just seems awful.
Yeah, but then she could have got out.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, you know, there's only a little fiberglass door there. If the thing like bursts into flames while you're sitting on the pot, I mean, first thing I do is jump up and run like hell. So I don't know.
Knocking that thing over, like running down the street with that damn thing on me.
Who cares if you got pants on at that point? You know, it doesn't matter.
That's the least of my problem.
Oh, hell, the porta potty's on fire. Let me pull my pants up. Nope. I'm just running out of there butt naked.
Tripping over your.
Yeah, and there was another one that I didn't even know about until I was listening to that show yesterday. And there's another one that's just like I don't know, less than 5 miles down the road. And somebody had asked about the girl that was found hanging. There's like a little dam or a bridge or something. And apparently, I didn't even hear about this one. It was news to me yesterday. But it happened, I don't know, a month or so ago. Some girl was found hanging from this thing. And police chief was like, yeah, that was like an apparent suicide or something.
What was she hanging from?
It was a dam or a bridge. I'm not sure. One or the other. I know the area. I'm just not like.
Or did someone like throw her out over?
Who knows? That's the questions I'm asking. Is I know these people are dead. Obviously, they're in the water. Yeah, maybe they drowned. How did they get in the water? Did they just like stumble in? You know, this latest one that was found in the creek, she was only in a few inches of water, and her from the waist up to her head was in the water. From the waist back to her feet was out of the water. So she was basically, you know, head first in the water. Kind of like maybe somebody like held her face down.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
I don't know. I'm not saying anything either way. I'm just asking the questions that apparently.
Because toxicology is coming back pretty clean on these so far that they're releasing, right?
Yeah, the ones that they've released so far, yeah. So who knows? Who knows what's happening in the little tourist town of St. Augustine? Does any weird stuff like happen down there where you're at, Debbie? I mean, I know weird stuff happens everywhere, but do you guys like have, you know, a body count stacking up? Or is it just in my area here? Yeah, it is weird, Rose. They found a body in the river last week. Maybe it drifted there from here. Yeah, I usually avoid the news too, Lori. But I always look for this kind of news because I'm a morbid weirdo. And it's not, it's not really super publicized. It usually comes out once and then kind of disappears.
You're lucky if you can find the article later.
Yeah. Yeah, like the one, the girl that was supposedly hung. I didn't see that one. I totally missed that one. He says it was a guy the cops had been chasing the night before. If he tried to swim to one of those islands and drowned. Guess he should have learned how to swim better. But yeah, there's who knows? Who knows what'll happen tonight, tomorrow, the next day here. The weekend's coming up. Sure there'll be another body found.
Yeah.
It's like a weekly thing here now. Don't mention that though, because it's a tourist town. Move along. Yeah, I usually avoid most news altogether. I don't watch any of it on TV. It's all a bunch of crap. Can't believe any of it anyways. So why watch it? Like I was telling Jamie, I don't even know if it's real or not. But last night we're sitting here and it was right along about midnight. This thing pops up from the Weather Channel, the official Weather Channel, and it says heavy snow expected for St. Augustine tonight.
That's crazy.
Really? But then this morning I was like looking around on the weather stations and I did find an article that said that because of this big wicked storm that's been moving through, that they were expecting it to be snowing off the coast of North Florida, but it was going to be like 100 miles out, but there was snow in the storm. I guess it was snowing over the ocean.
Wow.
Weird. I don't know. I don't know if I should believe it or not. If they say it's going to snow and I walk outside and I see snow, I'll believe it.
Yeah.
But I did walk outside.
You're like doing snow angels in the lawn and you're making a snowman. You're going to be like, yeah, there was snow.
It has snowed here before, but
you got a little bit like not that long ago somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, like Debbie says, we just get cold ass rains and winds. That's what it's been doing the last couple of days here. Today was wind. The last few days have been windy, and it wasn't really raining today. It was just that misty, like tiny little sprinkly rain all day long, and cold and windy. It's warmed up a little bit though. It's like 50 now. But the other morning, I think it was 38, 39, something like that. Way too damn cold for Florida.
It's 50 here right now.
Like the universal temperature across the country. Yeah. Yeah, Debbie's further south, like she's south of where I live. I'm kind of in the pit of northeast Florida, and she's way down the coast a bit. So if it's snowing where she's at, it must have really been cold here. Yeah, you should come back to Florida, Lori. It's crazier now than it was when you were here, apparently. But hey, it's not like down in way South Florida, Miami, where those people were eating people's faces and stuff.
Oh,
over the edge there.
It's not good for anybody.
No, that's just not good for anything.
I always picture.
Is everybody's Facebook feed working okay? Because mine's locked up.
Looks like it's alright.
Cool. Well, I'm just going to ignore it then.
Maybe you have to refresh. Or can you?
I can, but I don't know. I'm moving. Well, now it just caught up.
Oh, it's like a
Moved
bloop.
and it did something weird.
It goes bloop. Syncs it all up.
Yeah, exactly, Debbie. Last time I was down in Miami, I pulled up to like a Burger King or something, and they were just full on, like, you know, it was like, "Welcome to Burger King. Can I take your order?" But it was all in Spanish, and I was like, "What?" They didn't speak English at all. I was kind of.
Was the menu like?
The menu was in English. Well, some of it was in Spanish, but it was like English with Spanish under it. But yeah, they were fully talking in Spanish. And I was like, how far south did I just drive? Last I knew, we spoke English here. Apparently not.
Not in them there neck of the woods.
Yep. Yeah, I went to the CVS here.
We do what?
I went to the CVS here a while back, and it was like beginning of summer or whatever when I was sick. Pretty much all of last year. And they had like the get your flu shots here, but it was all in Spanish. All the signs out in front of the store were all in Spanish. I was like, uh-oh, here we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I heard like a murmur. Do you have like a TV or something on, or a ghost box or something on?
No. Well, there is a
There's
TV.
like
There's a TV in the other room I can barely hear.
There's like a really low like murmuring because Laura was talking about like a humming, but no, I just like caught it. It's like a lady's voice, like.
See if it does it now. Did you hear anything?
Nope.
It might be my mic picking up my TV, like, which is in the other room.
Yeah. That's what I think it is. Mystery solved.
Nothing spooky. But yeah, that's the latest news from the funky town of St. Augustine. I'm sure there's more if I look for it. I just haven't looked that much for it. But it sure seems to be more dead bodies stacking up here than other towns. And I thought this was a pretty mellow town. But yeah, going back to that live broadcast that I watched yesterday, I had typed in during that broadcast about, that's what they said back in the 80s when William Darrell Lindsley was, ended up getting caught in the 90s for all the girls that he killed here in the 80s. They were saying the same thing. And yeah, I went back to the Facebook page this morning, and like there was like 100 comments of people freaking out about it. And they're basically, most all of them were kind of ranting and raving, but you know, it was the basic gist of it was, yeah, it's because it's a tourist town, you know, and they don't want that kind of news spread around.
Yeah.
Move along. Nothing to see.
Seems to make the most sense.
That's pretty trippy, Debbie. Is Facebook locking up on you, Rose? Keeps doing it on my end. I don't know. I don't know how the YouTube feed's going. It's on YouTube too, so might be better there. I don't know.
I have them both on my side. I keep flipping tabs back and forth, but it seems to look good on both sides.
But yeah, it's a weirdness. A 101, man, that's a long time. It's about how old my aunt was when she passed away. And I would always, you know, like she had all these cool stories to tell. She was pretty with it, like right till the end. And she'd always have these cool stories to talk about, you know, and like I could ask her anything and she'd remember it.
That's cool.
And then I said something about, you know, it's cool that, you know, she's lived that long. And she was like, yeah, well, you could think that, but just think about everybody that I went to school with, all my friends, everybody that I grew up with, they're all dead. She's like, the only people I, you know are like, you know, family, like kids and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, everybody she's gone to school with, everybody that she lived with, all her childhood friends, everybody has all passed away years before, and she was still here rolling along. So when you think about it in that aspect, it's like, wow.
Did you hear how China was about to quarantine like 3 million people?
Yeah, I saw that article, and I didn't get to read it all. But yeah, that's another weird thing.
Like, didn't they just have polio or something? Not polio, but the plague.
Something like that, yeah.
Wuhan, China is about to be quarantined as the coronavirus outbreak grows.
Yeah, and there's been a couple cases of it here in the States already.
Yeah, it's like spreading.
Yeah. Yeah, my nephew, who, you know, he goes to Hawaii every year and he's usually there for a couple of months. He went this year, just left like the 1st of January, and he got there and paddled like right out to Waimea the first day he got there, big huge Waimea, and he surfed the first day. He got up the next morning and wasn't feeling good and went for another surf, came in, and he spent the next week and a half pretty much in bed. And my nephew he's like early 30s. He's in really good shape. He trains all year to go surf, you know, 20, 30, 40-foot waves. And he was so sick he couldn't even get out of bed. And he ended up leaving Hawaii and coming home early. He's already back home here. He's been home for a week now. And I think he basically surfed twice. Like I say, he's usually there for 2 months or so, sometimes 3. But he was only going to stay like a month this time. But he was so sick he couldn't deal with it and was freaking out. And for him to say he can hardly lift his head off the pillow, he's pretty sick. And came back, went to the doctor here. They told him he had um, the flu virus B and pneumonia, and he's been like, my brother was saying he's never, in 30 something years of of having him, he's never seen him as sick as he is right now. But being on a plane for 8.5 hours, you know, how much does it take for, one person from China that has this funky bug to hop on a plane, go to New York, go to wherever? A couple people on the plane get it. They go, a couple of their friends get it, 2 of their friends get it, 4 of their friends get it, 8 of their friends get it. Next thing you know, everybody's dying from this new bug. And they were thinking that it wasn't contagious in China. They didn't think it could spread, to people until they realized all the healthcare people that were taking care of these people were getting sick. So, yet another level of some wicked ass flu bug that's going around or whatever. I don't know. I'm the weird conspiracy guy. I think that stuff was grown in the lab and somehow released.
I believe it. Me and my chemtrails and being sprayed with everything.
Yeah.
I totally.
I mean, if you want some population control, how hard is it to come up with some weird virus, and just let it spread? You don't have to do anything.
People are going to do it.
Yeah, it'll just happen on its own.
That's
before you know it, there's 4 people that are sick, then there's 8, then there's 16, 32, 100, it just multiplies.
Like the year that we had that really weird flu strain, remember? But it was like in all these different countries when we watched the flu websites, and the way it spread, it like flowers outwards from like each country. Like, wait, how is this? It's almost like being let out and then combining together. Like, it just didn't travel right. There was something not right about that flu season.
Exactly. And I mean, you saw how much I was sick last year, and I used to never get sick. And man, it kicked my ass last year, like over and over and over again.
My lungs in January, when I thought I was going to die, I couldn't even breathe or lay down.
Yeah.
Like around the time I got this tattoo.
Yeah, you work in the medical field, don't you, Holly?
Oh, that'd be scary to have to work and then have something like that all over.
Yeah. Debbie had it 3 times last year. I had it 7. Like Jamie was saying, I was sick more time out of last year's time frame than I was not sick.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And that wasn't even like not sick. That's you felt decent those days. Really am feeling good.
Yeah, it was like,
you're never like.
Yeah, it was never like 100% over it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't 100% miserable during those.
You just weren't dying right then.
Yeah. The emergency room. I bet you got some stories.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Chip? How's it going, man? Chip was the guy I was just telling you, Jamie, that we had a band practice today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is weird how a lot of these weird viruses seem to come from China. And who knows with all their weird political system over there, and you can't do this, can't do that, you know, rat on your neighbor, retraining camps, all that stuff. Who knows? Yeah, I got a friend that works in the emergency room here, and he's told me some crazy stories from the emergency room.
My buddy that pops in here once in a while worked in ER and told me some crazy like X-ray stories and stuff.
Yeah, that was a fun practice today, Chip. I had a good time. Yeah, I'm a big time believer in the echinacea and golden seal. I've been taking that for a while, and I always have that stuff around. So far, knock on wood, I haven't got sick this year. Not that we're that far in the year, but man, I got my share of it last year. Wow, that's a trip prior. Yeah, I've seen some strange stuff in the like nursing homes and stuff before. Exactly, Debbie. Find some wood. Is there any around here? That's why I knocked on my head.
Yeah, knock on your head.
Yeah, paranormal activity at the hospital. That's why, you know, I've got a couple of videos on my channel about doing, you know, ghost box stuff outside the hospital, and you know, it's kind of weird, but I mean, a lot of people go in there and don't come out alive. And I figured, you know, hey, I know some people would probably freak out about it, but I'm sure there's other people that wouldn't. So I just kind of do it undercover. I don't like, you know, kind of go to a place where I'm kind of by myself and kind of hide out. But I've got some, there's one video, I think I played it on here, our first or second show. Got some pretty weird responses from the ghost box.
Yeah.
I know one time I was in seeing my stepdad before he passed away. It was like a kind of an assisted living place or whatever, and man, there was a like an older lady there, and she was out in the hall in a wheelchair, and she was freaking out. I don't know what she was seeing, but it wasn't good, and it was pretty weird, man.
Oh.
It was pretty weird. She was like fighting stuff off and saying, "They're trying to take me. They're trying to take me. Get them away from me." I don't know what she was seeing, but to her, I mean, I didn't see anything. Not to say that, you know, there wasn't something there, but
Yeah.
wow. And whatever she was seeing, it was disturbing her bad.
Sounds intense.
Yeah. My mom went up and talked to her. This was, geez, almost 4 years ago. And my mom went up and talked to her, you know, and tried to calm her down and stuff. But she wasn't having none of it. Yeah, she was not ready to go anywhere. She had some business to finish up or something.
Sounds like it.
Either that or there was something not good trying to take her. Who knows? I don't know. It was pretty freaky though. I was like, I got to move along here. The lady's kind of freaking me out. How's it going, Lord Lynn? What's up? Yeah, that would have been a trip to run a SLS camera in front of her. All these stick figures around her. It's freaky. That's that's like that always, like the whole spirits and ghosts and everything. I'm used to that, but it's like the living people that one kind of really stuck with me because this lady was whatever, man. She was seeing something.
There's so much to when people get at a certain age, and that's why I think we're supposed to learn things along the way.
Yeah.
At a certain rate, that towards the end when our bodies are getting ready and preparing, naturally for the next step, that these communications and visions and things that they're seeing, there's more to it than a lot of people give it credit for.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even my mom, I mean, she sees stuff all the time. And like, it's kind of weird, but my stepdad's ashes are here in the house, and they were lost for a long time. For the last couple of years, haven't been able to find them. And my aunt came by and picked her up one day, and Darcy and me cleaned out her bedroom, rearranged a bunch of stuff, and we found my dad's ashes like behind a bunch of crap in an Amazon bag. But he's in this little wooden thing. Anyways, I got him and put them where I know where they're at. Took them out of her room, and then the very next day, she was talking about. She came out of the room asking where my stepdad went, and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, he was just in my room, and I just followed him out here, and now he's gone. Where'd he go?"
That was weird.
Yeah, and it was just right after I moved his ashes. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there. Weird. Call me crazy. Debbie, you know somebody that has an SLS camera, huh? I think I know somebody that has one too. Yeah, it's easy to say that people are hallucinating. That's the logical explanation.
The nothing to see here.
Yeah. I mean, that's that's how the general population would explain it is, oh, they're just hallucinating. Are they? Are they hallucinating? Or are they really seeing stuff? Yeah. Yeah, I've seen, unfortunately I've seen a bunch of people pass away, and I've seen several of them, like, reaching up to something or someone.
Or their heads go like a certain way where it's like their bodies are reaching up.
Hey, Debbie's got an SLS. Holly's got an SLS. Rob doesn't have an SLS. Wow, Lori, that's a trip. Yeah, was he hallucinating or was he seeing stuff? When I still remember when my grandfather passed away, he was in a separate room, and he was pretty much bedridden. Well, he wasn't pretty much, he was bedridden. And my grandmother was too at that time, and she was in a separate room. And when my grandfather passed away, you know, he died, and I'm sitting there with my mom, and she's like, well, we got to go tell your grandmother, you know. And it was like probably an hour after my grandfather passed away. We go in my grandmother's room, and she's just laying in bed, and my mom started to tell her, and she was like, oh, I know, he came and sat on the bed and talked to me. She's totally calm, totally in the moment, and was like, yeah, I know. He came and sat on the edge of the bed right here and held my hand and talked to me and told me that, you know, everything was okay and he was going to be waiting for me. She knew everything. And I was like, there's something to this. You know, that's not just coincidence. That's not just a dream.
Yeah.
And she said, you know, he was like, yeah, you know, I'll be waiting for you. Don't rush. Everything's fine. I'm okay. And she said that, you know, he was not like a bedridden person. She said he looked great, is what she said.
Awesome.
Yeah. You know, he was out of that rickety ass body, and
The way that we hope and we picture, like when we say, at least, hopefully they're not in pain anymore and the arthritis is gone, or, this is
yeah.
better. It really does go away and get better.
And I was just sitting there like listening to her tell all this stuff. And I mean, she was not like, you know, in a dream state or not. She wasn't making it up. She told it in detail, you know, and showed us right where he sat and held her hand and talked to her and the whole 9 yards. I was just like, damn. That's why you know, it's like another reason that I believe in all this stuff, because it wasn't just some story she was making up, you know.
Yeah.
Don't know how to explain it. Don't know if I'll ever know how to explain it. But I believe it's real. I believe whatever happens, you know, like talking on the ghost box and stuff, it's like I always hear, you know, something saying, you know, I'm dead or whatever. And I always kind of question them on that. I'm like, are you dead, or are you just moved into a different realm of, you know, whatever? Because you're talking. So, you know, everything we're taught, dead people don't talk.
Or that they know that's what we would refer to them as, like,
Yeah.
have been a living person before, would be considered dead. So it's like, hey, yo, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And stuff. I've moved on to the interdimensional stuff lately.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they say that just because that's how we would relate to them or whatever. But yeah, it's just, I always look at it as it's, you know, their physical body's dead, but they've moved to a different realm, different dimension, however you want to say it.
Yeah, because our physical body is just a carriage and a shell
Yeah.
for our soul. I always think about hermit crabs when you watch them, like,
Yeah.
jump, from shell to shell. But if that crab was like your spirit, and then
Yep.
the shell being your body.
Yeah. Maybe try to get them to define dead, maybe. Yeah, I fully believe there's native spirits all over the place around here.
Oh,
Yeah, and having and being touched by something. I've had that happen to me a few times, and it's a weird sensation. I've been touched at the lighthouse before, several times, and so have people that have been there with me, and a few places downtown. Wow, wow. I'll
I've
have to go
never been
look at.
touched as much as the Hornet that night in the communication room.
Yeah,
Like you could literally feel them like pushing up on your like behind you, and I would feel it, and then I'd say it's gonna go off, and then you'd see like the meters and everything ringing and stuff. I feel it coming up again. Like it was just weird. Like it like felt like sailors like rubbing up on you, and then the machines would start flickering and going crazy.
yeah,
That's like on footage I still haven't even edited, but I have it. I had Elizabeth Saint right next to me when it was happening.
yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. I sometimes, I'm running ghost boxes or doing an investigation somewhere, and I'm like, it's like I get that skeptic always comes back in, and it seems like every time that happens, and I'm like sitting there thinking, am I just like hallucinating this stuff? Am I,
Yeah,
is it just am I just hearing things in my head or whatever? That skeptic part of me is trying to explain it like this is just a bunch of radio chatter, and then something happens that you just cannot explain away. You get touched, or you just get just direct answers that there's no way it can just be a coincidence that came out after you ask a question, and that's what always pulls you back in.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if Sam's still in here, but we were talking the other day about doing some experiments. We've gone to the graveyard. We'll stop by there in the mornings or something, and I'll sit in the car with the ghost box playing, and she'll like go over to a grave or something, and she'll like write a word down, and after a few minutes she'll come back and ask me what I heard to compare it to the word that she wrote down. And we've nailed it a couple of times. Actually, I think maybe the last time we were there, she was like, I'm gonna write a color down or a word or whatever. I don't know if she said word or color. And like before she was like she had just started writing it, and I didn't see it, but the ghost box was like red,
Oh my gosh,
clear as a bell, and that's what she was writing.
that's awesome.
Like, okay, wait and let me write it first before you answer it.
That's awesome.
But a few times it hasn't worked, but I think there's been more times that it has worked than hasn't. It's weird. Yeah, exactly, Debbie. The touch is like, I always kind of refer it as like kind of like cobwebs or something on you at first, spider webs or something. It's like that weird brushy feeling kind of followed with like a pressure or something. And I've been at a few places that been totally fine, felt physically fine. And there was a place downtown. It was the antique store that we used to go to and investigate all the time. There was one place in that store where I think every time I went there, I would get like dizzy and nauseous. Like, bam, it would hit me like all of a sudden, like where the nausea was so bad, it was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it out of here to puke somewhere. Like, just comes on all of a sudden. And as soon as I leave from that spot, I'm okay. And there was like no electrical, no nothing in that part of the building, you know, that I could see or find or whatever. You know, ran the meters and stuff in there and they didn't pick up anything. But man, there's one place that I would go to in that building and it was like, whew, it was like whatever I ate for dinner is about to come flying out. I'd have to move. And that was happening to me at the graveyard just down the road from my house a year or two ago when I was having those weird problems. There's one side of the graveyard. I would go to that side. I'd be perfectly fine on the other side, on the left-hand side. I'd go to the right-hand side of that cemetery. And I don't know what it was, man. Something didn't like me. And I would just get like sick feeling and just, ugh, wasn't good. But it doesn't seem to affect me anymore there. I've had a few weird feelings, you know, like the other day, Sam and me were in the graveyard and she was like, wow, all of a sudden I feel like I'm drained. And I'm like, yeah, me too. And it was like hard to keep my eyes open for a few minutes there. It's kind of weird. It's like something sucked all our energy out of us or something. Yeah, I don't know if something, you know, the building that this antique store was in, it was actually one of the first jails in St. Augustine. So who knows what happened in that building. Yeah, I usually always have some black tourmaline around. What about some ghost box? Yeah, it could have been a person that died there or something weird happening. Who knows? Ghost box on demand. Texas. Yeah, it definitely used to be a prison. I wouldn't say a prison, but a jail. So, are there any spirits that want to chat with us here this evening? Want to chime in on some of the stuff we've been talking about?
Is it man? This yeah.
You guys heard Texas? there somebody from Texas here? I am running the Dead Wave right now from Keith Weldon. I think I just heard it say Dead Wave in two different voices, kind of broken up. Dead Wave. We're listening to you, spirits. People in the chat room are listening to you. We were running this the other day, and that kind of whispery voice that's in the background, we were getting a lot of replies through that. Can you tell us your name? Who's here with us right now? I'd say there's no something. Sounded like you said there's no lottery. I could have been hearing something else though.
Go.
Who is with us? Who's with us right now? Me? Who is me? What's your name?
People.
I was going to say, did anybody hear Alice? I did. We're dead, huh?
That
So, spirits, somebody in the chat room wants to know what numbers are important.
There. Just be some when there. That okay.
It's like, hey, did you ask at all about the new body out there?
No, I haven't yet.
Want to hey. The
What's up, Tyler? How's it going, man?
Did it say bro?
I was trying to decide if it said bro or Rose. I couldn't tell.
I thought it was like bro.
just that
Spirits got any messages for Tyler?
Hmm. Says his name, I think.
Yeah.
well, hey. Check.
Well, it almost sounds like it's like, well, I am.
Blood.
One of these has a trippy accent,
Yeah.
like Australia, maybe.
Just
What messages do you have for Tyler? He's been feeling pretty bad lately.
You heard emergency? He was an emergency.
From
Yeah.
that was
I think I heard his name, ma'am. What does Tyler need to do? Is there something Tyler can do to help his situation?
when he
Does he have anybody with him looking over him while he's sick?
Said cream.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think we're still testing.
Now-
Will the cream actually help him? Or are they just pushing it off on him?
yeah.
Will it help?
Just hey, we have five.
Damn.
Now, tell
We send our prayers to Tyler's angels to look over him and hope that he has healing, that he's surrounded by healing energy.
Yeah, Tyler, is there any like free walk-in clinics around there? I know we have one here that, you know, you can go there for pretty much just about anything. I mean, they don't do surgery and stuff there, but they will refer you to a place.
I referred him to one, and it ended up costing him a bunch of money for like nothing.
Oh, great.
It was the same thing. He went in, and I told him he needed surgery and charged him a crap load of money for that. And it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, Holly.
Sure.
You look
Wow.
on your phone by itself and it says angels falling over. That's kind of strange.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the health department or somewhere around there's got to be able to like do something for you.
That
Keep hearing 7 a lot.
human.
Human.
Human. There's that one.
Go.
I'm hearing Kevin a lot tonight.
Me too.
Mm.
I haven't wanted to say it.
Yes. But why not? Which Kevin is talking to us?
Sounded like sup.
Yep. What's Kevin's last name?
Done.
Does he have a message for us?
It got quiet all of a sudden.
It was cooking for a minute too.
Yeah. Which Kevin is talking to us? Tell us your last name.
Whoa.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
In the female voice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That joke. The
Yo, what's up?
right.
Any messages for anybody in chat?
Now.
I don't know if I've heard Rose or Earth like 3 times sounding like that, where it's saying like Rose or Earth.
Yeah.
Human. Kind of. Joke. In book. No. So called you're getting
Hearing help a lot.
And Pete a lot.
Yep.
I heard human again a minute ago.
Yep.
fine. Well,
Right.
Some of those voices.
I hope you said
You Wrong.
they paint
Bob.
So who has some messages for us?
them.
It's like we don't know.
Yeah.
And
This never. Sir.
Yeah, I was just painting earlier this evening.
I thought I heard it say painting.
Yeah.
You
I thought I heard paint or painting.
Can somebody tell me what I was painting? It wasn't that.
Is it sounding like the kid?
Them.
Can any of the spirits tell me what I was painting earlier?
So
It's still running, but it's just gone completely silent. Oh, I think I know why. My battery just died on my portal.
Oh,
I was like, man, it's being really quiet. What the heck? Yeah, I haven't charged my battery and since we started doing this show. So
Oh,
how
well,
long my
that'll do
battery
it.
lasts. Yeah. Like literally since the first episode of this show, not just this show.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I haven't charged this thing in months, man. This battery, this is the first time I've ever completely drained the battery. So yeah, my let's see. I was like, man, it got really quiet there. Whoa. crashed.
You're messing with ya.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you would think I would charge my battery for our Wednesday show, but I've never had the battery like run out on me. I guess I know the limit now. After 2 months, it goes dead.
Is it one of these?
Yeah, it's one of those. What are they?
Yeah, these take forever to drain out.
Yeah, it's one of those. Those are kick-ass batteries, man.
Mm-hmm.
Great time for it to go dead as in a show, but hey, at least I know now. I was like, man, this thing magic because it never goes dead.
Make sure when you charge it, you have the light on.
Yeah.
Well then, what app is that you were running?
That was the dead wave.
Session over, man. Lori says.
Well, at least now I know I need to charge my battery.
Yeah.
So we got what, like 15, 17 minutes left. I could pull a couple cards if anybody's interested.
Yeah, sounds good. I have good vibes for cards tonight. I think someone will get something good.
Yeah, did anybody see Keith's video on his, what's that new one? What is it, like an EVP?
The white noise.
The white noise, yeah.
I've posted the video, but I haven't got to watch it yet. Like I shared it, but
These are big cards. Wow. How about some postcards from Spirit, since we were using the Spirit box?
yeah. We're one day from the new moon.
Aha.
That's
Yeah, we
where
gotta
the
do a
energy's coming from.
astrological show soon. So who wants to go first? I'm shuffling until somebody says me.
Pull one for me.
All right. This one's for Jamie. It says, "Dearest you, we bet you must be so exhausted some days, giving as much as you do, sharing your energy so beautifully in service to the highest good, can leave you feeling depleted, like an empty well. If it feels as if there's no more water for you, the good news is we have a plan. Today, go take a relaxing bath book a massage, read a novel, buy yourself flowers, or plant some in your garden. Make time for self care, not more work on yourself. By tending to yourself now, you are reminded to do so more often. Be sure to use a word that might have caused you anxiety in the past, but is essential for your well being now. No. Say it with us. No, thank you. No, I can't. You do not have to explain. Just say no. Gently but firmly, then go for a soak. Life will wait for you to bring yourself back to the center, replenished and ready for more adventure.
I love that, and I need to work on my self care because I've been slipping. But I'll tell you what'll come out the other end of that no when I'm done soaking. Not a happy adventure, but it'll be nice while it lasts.
Yep.
That is something I've been slipping on lately,
Yep.
like the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks, month and a half.
All right, this one's for Lori. The simple yet powerful law of cause and effect means everything in a relationship. Every action on earth has a consequence, and even in the spirit world, there is a consequence for every action taken on your behalf. Right now, you're facing conditions that weren't set in motion by past decisions, that were set in motion by past decisions. Consequences are coming into being in your favor. They will remind you that making good choices and listening to your intuition pay off. If some things are a little off and uncertain, know that whatever you are facing, you can step beyond it just by using your imagination and acting on that instead of reacting to what is being presented. Everything you think and do has far reaching reverberations in the web of life. Move to higher ground and have faith that what goes around comes around. The universe is always self correcting anyway. Isn't that amazing? What's up, Wolfie? How's it going? We were running some ghost boxes until Rob's battery died. They kept saying dead, dead, dead. Maybe they were trying to tell us something.
Battery.
All right, this one's going to be for Debbie. Debbie's card says, "We have a secret to share with you. If you act as if all is well, it will be. Act as if you are brave and you will have courage. Act as if you are loved and you will be a magnet for love and experience the love of spirit. Act as if your prayers have been answered, as if you are truly in sync with good fortune. How you think is how you will see the world. Interact with it and draw conclusions from it. If you want to be a person who has the life you want, co creating and loving what is yours, you need to start acting as if it were truth. Don't worry about the conditions in your life that seem empty or cavernous, chaotic or barren. These are temporary and don't even count. Defy them and act as if you're like the luckiest person on the planet. You will be, for you already are. That's the real secret. You are infinite potential." That's pretty cool. Yeah, Wolfie, it's way too damn cold here in Florida.
He's in Florida also.
Yeah, what part of Florida are you in? are much welcome, Debbie. Cards usually don't lie. Oh, okay. You're in Rhode Island. Rhode Island. Isn't that the state that's shaped like a shoe? Or is that New Hampshire? I can't remember now. New Hampshire's the real little one. Or am I totally wrong?
I'd have to like Google it. I don't remember.
Your sister's in Melbourne. I like Melbourne. It's pretty cool down there. Literally, like right now, it is really cool down there. For Florida people, anyways. Anything under 70 is cool. Yeah, like the thing I posted today. Mother Nature says you can't have all 4 seasons in a week. Florida's like, hold my sweet tea and watch this. Last week it was like in the 80s. And then it was in the 70s. It was really nice. It went from being like really hot with the air conditioner on to like, okay, cool. It's like springtime. You don't need the air conditioner. Then it was like all of a sudden it's like bitterly cold all within a week. Rhode Island's the smallest state. Yeah, I knew it was one of those. Yeah, these are cool cards, Lori, for sure. Yeah, I like Colette's cards. Anybody else want one? Exactly. Cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot. Hot in the morning, cold at night. Cold in the morning, hot at night. It's Florida. Is what's weird. It'll be like we've had several days of cold, and it's like, okay, the one good thing about cold here is it kills all the bugs, you know, the mosquitoes and those pesky gnats and all that stuff. But I don't think it kills them because it'll warm up, and within 24 hours, those damn mosquitoes are right back.
Those pesky little things.
Exactly. Nothing like going to bed at night and have your windows open and get that around your ears.
I'm telling you, on my walks, I've been getting that though, but it's those drones popping up in the back.
Yep.
I hear it so easy now. It sounds like, you know, bike tires like running up real fast. Like
Yep.
bike really fast. What is that? And then you see it. There's 2 of them, a green one and a really big white one that I see flying out here every single night after 9 o'clock. And it just goes around like the developments. I saw where one of them landed though.
Well, I'm going to pull this one for myself and see what it says. It says, Dear you, what is true for you? Can you be impeccable with your word? Sure you can, as long as it's not used to manipulate others. The truth can set everyone free. Let go of all the results. Let go of your fears and allow the truth to empower you and others. This will set into motion a kind of change that will be supportive of you and loving and all kinds of prosperous. I could use some prosperous right now. This is not a time to compromise and hide your truth from others. Whatever it is you want, go for it. And be clear in your motives, especially with yourself. You will be happy you did. This is a time where you will tap into the power to co-create and manifest your best life. Doesn't it feel amazing? And the results, miraculous. When you tell the truth and ask the same of others, you can learn a lot from life's bountiful lessons and achieve your dreams. Kind of makes sense to me.
Oops.
Whoa, my computer just freaked out.
So did mine. That's why I said oops.
It's weird. It like happened right when mine happened. Whoa. Well, cool. That about wraps up the show.
I remembered who we had next week. And
I was
then
just looking it up.
oh, Chris Garcia.
Yep.
Psychic medium Chris Garcia on Paranormal Soup.
Paranormal Soup. Sundays.
Sunday.
Sunday. Yep, Chris Garcia.
I wonder if he'll take some phone calls.
Yeah, it's always cool when we have psychics on that do that.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, 9 times out of 10, they have some pretty cool information. Man, who was that we had? I can't remember who that was we had on. It was when Rhodey called in. Was it Debbie Anderson? Or who was that? I can't remember. But she was like nailing it.
Was it recent? Was it the one that Jason was talking about? I think she was just like the show a couple ago, right?
Yeah, just pretty recently, yeah.
Yeah. Carol?
I can't remember. Have I been to the 500? Yes, I have. My uncle is the one who kind of designed and built the scoreboard for the Daytona, well, for NASCAR, pretty much in general.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, he used to pretty much run the scoreboard and stuff at the Daytona races, and he'd like travel all over running the scoreboards. But yeah, he pretty much designed the scoreboard system for NASCAR, and he'd be in Texas one week, North Carolina the next week, Florida the next week, California the next week. He'd be all over the place. And so I used to, being that he was my uncle and was involved in NASCAR, I used to get the perks of going to the races and like sitting up in the tower, basically right at the scoreboard. Like he was like, don't touch anything.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was living the high life. First time I went in there, it was like, wow. Got like all these cute waitresses bringing you like drinks and food and all kinds of stuff up there.
That's awesome.
Cool. I've been to a few of the motorcycle races too. The Arai, I don't know what it's called now. It used to be the Arai 200. And then they also do the Supercross. And I got to walk down basically the big Supercross, like the big jump right at the finish line. I was standing right there. The dude
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And I've been around the track several times in a car as well.
Did you get pictures of you back then, like getting to do all that, or?
No, I didn't even think to like take any pictures. I might have a couple of pictures.
Or some that somebody else might have taken.
Yeah. But I was just so in the moment. I was like, pictures were the last thing on my mind. I was just like befuddled with everything that was going on,
Yeah.
watching the races and stuff. It was cool. My aunt, the one I was talking about earlier at the beginning of the show that lived to be 101, she was a huge NASCAR fan. And, you know, it's funny, this little old lady that she wasn't even 5 feet tall. She was like 4'10" or something, 4'11". But she was a hardcore NASCAR fan. And one year for her birthday, my uncle got a full-on legit NASCAR helmet and had it signed by all of the NASCAR racers. Richard Petty, everybody signed this thing.
Oh my gosh.
It's actually down in the NASCAR museum down in Daytona now.
That is sick.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I have pictures of that.
That is way cool.
But yeah, when she passed away, it went to the NASCAR museum, and that's where it resides at this very day.
Wow.
Yeah. The infield party, and they take that serious down there. I've been to a few races too where, yeah, it's the pre-party, the during party, the post-party, and the week after party still rages. Yeah. Yeah, that place has changed big time. I remember the first time I went there with my uncle. It was way back when there was no elevator or anything to get up in the tower. It's like the Winston Tower. I don't know what it's called now, but there was no elevator, and you know the stands were all metal stands, like big, huge metal bleachers, and you had to walk up these steps all the way to get up in the tower. And I was like, never been a fan of heights, and I was like, please God, please God, please God, let me get to the top of this thing and not pass out. And then coming back down really sucked. But yeah, now it's all elevators and cush. Yeah, the motocross is fun. That's the last one I went to, was one of the motocross races.
Those are good times.
Motocross one day and motorcycle racing the next day, and it blew me away. I mean, I've ridden motorcycles for years, and that was the first time I'd been to a motorcycle race, and I can legit say those guys haul ass on that track. On the infield part of the track is one thing, but when they're out on the big oval, man, they come by and it's just like you can't even see them hardly. It's insane. The need for speed. Well, cool. It's a little after 2, so we're going to wrap it up. We will see you all again next week for another weird Wednesday. Hopefully I won't have any more dead bodies washing up on the bank stories. But I probably will. I hadn't been to the Rolex one. Just the Supercross and I don't even know if it's still called the Arai 200 anymore, but that's what it used to be called. But anyway, we'll catch y'all next time.
Good night.
Good night.